14 and middle of the pack of the ACC. Tip control by Christian Cunningham and Louisville. Transfer point guard from Samford.
Lots of four out, lots of pick and roll. And Stephen Enoch, the UConn transfer, is off to a good start to his career.
And he gets an early touch, but too strong as his shot was challenged by Admiral Schofield. Throwback unis for Tennessee, but a consistent starting five. Jordan Bone will run the point. Grant Williams and Kyle Alexander inside. And Admiral Schofield misses with his first jumper.
Both of these teams practice toughness. Both have said rebounding, inside play key tonight.
Three ball goes for Dwayne Sutton.
That is his second three of the season only.
This is a Tennessee team with tons of experience. SEC co-champs with Auburn last year. A lot of these guys were playing considerable minutes as a freshman 3 years ago. Cunningham on the way out. His is rejected. Bowden with the break block there. Here's Kyle Alexander, 6'11" with a touch. They double down on him. And it's saved on the baseline by the Cards.
Could have been a foul call over the back. They played it on.
Cards had numbers for time wins list.
It's amazing. Tied for 26 right now. That's a lot of wins. Started his career at George Mason. Since then has taken 4 different programs to the NCAAs.
Beautiful feed to Grant Williams on the pass from Jordan Bone.
Tom, you and I have seen Tennessee early this year. I spent 2 days with Tennessee, and the guy that really impressed me in the improvement was Jordan Bone. Point guard, athlete, great speed, becoming an even better passer and playmaker.
Last year he had one of the best assist to turnover ratios in Tennessee program history. Shot clock at 10. Cunningham with the dish. And a long jumper from VJ King is off the mark. One big change for Louisville under head coach Chris Mack. A change in defensive styles, and Bone blows right by him.
Well, that's that speed we talked about. And that's something I think he's learning to harness.
Louisville, through its first 3 games, is scoring nearly 92 points a game. Their success at getting to the free throw line is the secret. Here's VJ King. And he misses another jumper. Cards have started this game 1 for 5.
They'll try to front Grant Williams in the post, but you can't do that.
4 early for the Tennessee big guy.
He spun off the pressure of Sutton. Sutton got caught on the top side.
King into the paint.
Together, and as you mentioned, ended up with another 20-win season, which is pretty much a common occurrence in Louisville.
They're one of 4 programs in the country to have 16 straight 20-win seasons. Baseline jumper goes. Tennessee red hot from the floor. Bone makes his, and Tennessee has made 4 out of 5 to start this game.
Yeah, Tom, in a league with really good point guards. Jared Harper, the kids at Kentucky, Darius Garland at Vanderbilt. I love Jordan Bone. He's playing at an all-SEC level this season.
Darius Perry hits a contested 3. Coming off of a career-high 17 against Vermont when he hit a pair of 3s. Schofield able to fit it inside to John Fulkerson. Fulkerson broke his nose last time out for Tennessee in the game against Georgia Tech, playing with a mask. Sutton picks up the loose ball and fires, and Louisville hits another from deep.
How about that? Dwayne Sutton was 1 for 5 behind the arc coming into tonight.
And now taken away by Darius Perry. Transition three, King. And crashing the glass hard is Malik Williams. Bone able to hesitate and take it off the window.
Right now, he's really hard to guard. He's having his way with Cunningham.
Schofield got lost defensively. V.J. King with his first field goal. Louisville back in front. Tennessee 6 of 7 from the floor. 5 of those buckets have come in the paint. Into Fulkerson and a read to the uniforms that those guys wore. And you played with Albert King, with Bernard's little brother.
I was a senior when Albert was a sophomore, and in that same league was a guy named Rolando Blackman, who had a pretty good NBA career, and some guy named the Microwave. Benny Johnson, who was the ultimate undersized four-man in high school, ended up being a great player in the NBA with the Pistons.
Admiral Schofield hits a three coming out of the timeout for Tennessee. Here's Malik Williams. Left it short. Louisville's gotten its hands on some offensive boards, but couldn't take advantage of that one.
And by the way, Tom, that's vintage Chris Mack basketball right now. Both coaches said today that this is going to be about toughness in the paint, and we've seen it early.
Yves Pons has entered the game for Tennessee. And Lamonte Turner is on the floor for the first time this season for the Vols, last year's SEC Sixth Man of the Year. Deep three for Jordan Nwora. He just entered and he knocks down his first touch.
Well, Jordan Nwora is really a starter, but they just wanted to send him a message about getting a little tougher, play some defense, but he can shoot the basketball.
John Fulkerson banging inside.
You know, you were mentioning that mask that he's wearing after the broken nose at Georgia Tech, and Rick Barnes said at practice yesterday, he told John Fulkerson, he said,
it's the second mask they've gone through for Fulkerson, trying to find one that fits him better. Pons dumps it into Grant Williams. And Williams just passing. Knocks down the free throw. Tennessee is 9 of 10 from the floor to start this game. Grant Williams was one of 5 Division I players on his high school team his senior year out of Charlotte Providence Day. Devin Dotson was another. We'll see him at point for Kansas in game. We'll talk a little bit about how Louisville's going to look different defensively this year under Chris Mack. How are they going to look different offensively in Mack's first season?
Lots of pick and rolls, a lot of spread court, but they're also going to bang the glass. It's something that was a trademark of Xavier. I know we keep mentioning the word toughness, but it's something when you talk to coaches about Chris Mack's teams that always comes up.
Quan 4 from the corner, off the mark. Ryan McMahon now running the point for Louisville after entering off the bench. Turner to the right hand, blocked inside by Malik Williams. McMahon with the lob. And the University of Tennessee, he talked about the football program trying to get to a bowl. He talked about the women's soccer program making it to the Elite Eight. And very rarely, with all due respect, are guys who are student athletes so they have the time to focus on what the other programs are doing.
You're exactly right, and that's what endears them. There's a good seal inside. Look at that. Stanley, who's an old school, undersized power forward. And the similarities, you know, are there. Adrian Dantley had a long NBA career. Yeah. AD was about 6'6", same size.
They list Grant Williams as 6'7". That might be a stretch.
Well, he's listed in the program as 6'7", but, you know, I'm someone that judges height well, given my stature.
I thought you were height blind. Louisville misses the three. Tennessee leads by 4. See if they pound it inside again. Here's Admiral Schofield. Transition 3. 6. The Badgers made just 1 3 and they only had 2 assists. When was the last time that happened?
That's crazy. Yep. And of course they have a guy that doesn't make any threes, Ethan Happ, who is going to end up being one of the most prolific players in Big Ten history statistically. Now, in fairness, they hadn't played anybody who'd really challenged them at home. But that was a really good win.
How many games have you seen in this building within the last week?
Oh, man. Well, don't forget the Garden last week. I'm going to see, you ready for this? 48 Division I teams this month.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I had a chance to see Pitt St. Louis today. It was either go to my hotel or watch the game. I was here.
Hotel rooms were small.
Of this game, why this kid is such a great player.
Knocks down another free throw. It's his third old school three-point play in this game, and we're not even 10 minutes into it. Darius Perry. Here's Quan Four. Tennessee 15th in the country and holding the opposition to just 53% shooting.
Gary Williams play that Rick Barnes certainly picked up on because he is a former Gary Williams disciple.
Was with them at Ohio State. McMahon throws in his first triple. He's hit 5 of 11 from deep this season. Good hands by Grant Williams, and a challenge shot ripped down by Jordan Wara. Akoy Agow backing his way in on Grant Williams.
He's got the 6th year.
A rare 6-year of eligibility.
Yeah.
He speaks Dinka, Arabic, and English. Look at where he's been. Louisville, then Georgetown, SMU, back to Louisville.
He was a delightful kid. I talked to him last year because I live about a mile from SMU, and I said, he actually called me a couple times to figure out what his potential to play overseas was. Next thing I know, he gets a 6th-year waiver from the NCAA, and he's back right where he started.
Jordan Bone off the mark. Rebounded by Agow. He's born in South Sudan, then moved to Egypt as a child, and then stateside. Open floor jam. That one belongs to Rora, and Louisville comes roaring back to take a lead.
Let's see if they can tighten up that half-court defense now.
Cards on an 8-0 run. Here's Rora again. And he turned in lanes. They got after you. They took chances. Pack line defense is something different altogether for Louisville.
Absolutely. They pack it in inside an imaginary 17-foot arc, which they use on their practice floor. Now, they haven't been real offense that takes away penetration. And theoretically, Tom, it should take away inside play, but that hasn't really been the case so far because Grant Williams has dominated the low post.
What's interesting, though, is if you compare it to what Tony Bennett is doing at Virginia from an overall tempo standpoint, is Louisville wants to play pack line defense and therefore slow a lot of teams down as McMahon hits another 3, but they want to be up tempo on the other end.
Easy to do. It's just a matter of your offensive style, but the defensive philosophy is very similar.
Schofield rises and knocks down a 3. Tennessee back to within a point.
And this guy with the ball has really matured as a sophomore, Perry. In fact, the coaching staff, you ready for this comparison? Defensively, they compare him to Javon Carter, former West Virginia star. But offensively, he's much more under control this year.
Ball fake, Rora 3. Offensive board slapped away. Louisville holds on to it. And Rora turned.
Studio 21 hours a day since last week.
Are they breaking rocks in there, or are they talking TV?
He's wearing out the cafeteria staff. I know that.
Here's Grant Williams. He's been wearing out Louisville, especially in the paint. He's got 15 here in the first half.
We got to get an ancestry report on this guy. I mean, how did he's been that good?
Not where I expected it to go.
I had somebody just tweet me and say, hey, what's with all the love for Grant Williams? Next, we're going to get an ancestry report. We're working on that right now,
as soon
my
as
man.
Spit in a cup and send it away,
yeah.
We'll know. Wayne Sutton with his third 3.
Yeah, and you know, seriously, see all this? Now, we've been impressed with Louisville on the offensive end, but Tennessee, we talk about pack line defense, it's nowhere near where Chris Mack wants it right now because the ball is going into the paint like it's a sieve. And he knows that.
Challenge shot, no whistle. Contact made, but everybody was straight up, according to Joe Lindsay.
And penetration. And Cards have looked really good offensively, but not so much defensively. And you can say the same thing for Tennessee defensively.
Grant Williams off the mark, rebounded by B.J. King. Louisville coming off of an 8-point win at home against Vermont.
We know how good Vermont is,
Yeah.
don't we? What an impressive performance at Kansas.
It was the Cards' 146th consecutive win when scoring more than 85 points. Dwayne Sutton for 3. And rebounded by Admiral Schofield. Williams got it deep, shares it with Fulkerson. Have game 2 tonight against Marquette, the second-ranked team in the country.
I'm going to guess that Bill Self throws the ball inside early tonight.
You think?
Yes, to Azubuike. How'd I do?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We've got
Hidoka,
an hour and a half.
Azubuike. I have to work on it. Holly Rowe told me I have to perfect that.
Admiral Schofield out front.
Watch him. He's going to look middle. He's taking a look. He's got video games. I learned how to play golf about a month ago with Rick Barnes.
On the simulator?
Yeah, the simulator golf. They've got one in their locker room.
No wonder Rick Barnes has his office in the practice facility instead of.
And he's come a long way as a coach. He really has. He's had an incredible career.
Folk more than Frost.
Yeah. It's okay. Arctic.
Yes. Yeah.
And they patched it up, and they're close today. And Dickie Scout's in the NBA, and he's a tremendous guy. But with Admiral Schofield, when they went through the coaching change, good pass right there. And Donnie Tyndall was let go. Schofield had committed to Tennessee. Dickie Simpkins said, "You need to play for this man." And then the Hall of Famer Rick Pitino, 2 great coaches, but Chris Mack certainly off to a great start.
One thing I loved about their shoot-around this morning is the entire team, having bought in, would repeat every call. So there's 5 guys on the floor, and there's another 9 guys standing on the baseline. Schofield for 3. And he gets another one. It's a 3rd triple for Admiral Schofield. But if Chris Mack said, let's run zipper, the point guard would say zipper, and everybody on the baseline would repeat zipper.
Culture. It's culture. It's how we're going to do it every single day, every minute of the day. And here's what we're going to do to build a winning program.
21 of the Cards' 35 points to start this game have come from deep. Meanwhile, 22 of Tennessee's 39 have come in the paint. Enoch.
He didn't get much time. Think about it. He was backing up and meet a Breimer. Oh, there, sneaky to Javon Carter.
I've got a motto for him of what his coaches want. Do simple better.
Yeah.
Do simple better.
Hit singles and doubles.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't swing for the fences.
Grant Williams went down, takes a look at the official on the baseline, didn't get the call. Bone trying to shake, and a baseline.
A great tournament, some really good teams. Florida State, LSU, both of those teams are loaded.
So we have so much to be thankful for, right?
Yes.
All of us do, especially the fact that we get to cover college basketball. One of the things that makes it easier for us to do is all the help we get from the sports information directors. Well, Tennessee's SID, Tom Setkoviak, is especially thankful, which is an amazing story.
Yeah, amazing story, perfect for this time of year.
Grant Williams offensive board. Did you see right before that free throw, Grant Williams switched to the other side of the lane? Schofield for 3.
Being with a guy that he knew quite well, Chris Mack from Chris's playing days. Both very well connected to the late Skip Prosser, who was just an incredible mentor.
Williams powers in, followed by Yves Pons.
You know,
see up 5.
Yeah, and that's one of those guys Rick Barnes is hoping for a step up his sophomore year. He's arguably the best athlete on this team. Young man from France.
Long 2. And it's ripped down by Lamonte Turner. Turner finds Williams, blocked. What hustle by McMahon. Tennessee, and now they'll pick up full court coming out of the timeout. Ryan McMahon is a great shooter. He's probably the 3rd point guard on this Louisville team, and they got the ball in his hands. Lamonte Turner all over him. Perry trying to shake Pons. And VJ King spins for a bucket.
Tough shot. Good defense by Schofield, but nice move by VJ King. Really good footwork not to travel.
Here's Lamonte Turner for 3. A sidewinder, and it's ripped down by Wara. Coming out of the timeout. Oh, they turn it over again. Lamonte Turner has it all to his lonesome.
Well, when we watched the Georgia Tech game last week, Tennessee had no offensive rhythm, and Rick Barnes told us today, having Turner back gives us a 3rd scorer. You could see the ball movement and the way the ball has gone inside. Good to have that quality backcourt player back.
Inside, off the glass. Akoy has 7. Duke just hit a last-second 3 to get within 8 of Gonzaga at the half in Maui as the Zags look to stay undefeated and hand the Blue Devils their first loss. They're at the half there. We'll get you to the studio for a full update in about a minute and a half here. Challenge turnaround jumper from Admiral Schofield. Wara challenge 3. And Lamonte Turner finds it. Field goal attempts have been from behind the arc. Is that who they want to be, or is that who Tennessee's forcing them to be?
Well, I think that's who they're going to have to be, because except for Enoch, they really don't have any inside scoring. But we know Wara, McMahon, those guys can really make shots. So, and especially when you run spread pick and roll, if you can get your point guard to play downhill, it's going to open up those three-point opportunities.
See where the Cards go to here. Touch for Akoy. Looking to go to McMahon. And Wara for 3.
One shot time right here for Tennessee, and that's exactly what Rick Barnes said.
About a second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Turner guarded by Darius Perry. Perry will back off now. Shot clock at 7. Turner trying to break him down into the paint, stripped away. Louisville finds it with 2 and taken back with Pons with 1.
What happens the first 3 minutes of the second half? Because both coaches are making adjustments. Both coaches are talking about things like playing tougher, harder. And here's one adjustment. Rick Barnes comes out in a 2-3 zone. First time we've seen it tonight. Louisville probably not expecting that. Let's see what they do.
Haven't seen that very much this season. Is the other. He went from VCU to Miami to Florida Gulf Coast, back to VCU, and they were here in this building last night.
Sure were, and Mike is like the big brother to those young VCU Rams. So impressive last night. Heartbreaking loss. Nice execution. Admiral Schofield is as good a passer as Rick Barnes has on that team.
Jordan Bowden with his first bucket of the night.
Schofield came in tonight, 15 assists. In 3 games.
Yeah, 5 assists a game. My math is really good because I traveled with my abacus.
You must have gone. Did you go to Missouri?
I did, but don't say that during game 2, okay? We don't need the Kansas folks to know that.
You're right about that.
Back into Akoy. Shot clock is at 3. They double with a dig. Akoy forces his way up, and Louisville can't find the offensive rebound, so they're getting it where they want it. Admiral Schofield takes it hard. Here comes Louisville the other way. The feed to King.
A little bit overrated, because while it measures good passing, there are teams that really score off the dribble and in isolation situations. Sure. So it's not always like the most team-oriented teams with the highest assist rate.
Jordan Bone had it halfway down. Grant.
A group of guys that were not heavily recruited, certainly weren't on those top 25 or top 50 lists. It's kind of teams that Rick Barnes has usually had through the years.
Look at the numbers that Tennessee returns coming into this season. 90% of their points, 94% of their rebounds for a team that tied for the SEC lead with Auburn last year. Auburn got the win head-to-head. Blocked inside. Kyle Alexander with his great reach. Here's Jordan Bone on the run out. Now you're doing we know you're an international hoops guru too, and now you're dipping into the prep ranks.
You know.
Where does it end?
It doesn't. It's a lot of useless information, Tom Hart.
So one possession is zone for Tennessee, huh? That was enough. Up and under move by Perry, gives it up. Donald's All-American in high school.
Yeah, and I don't think that helped him coming into Louisville, to be honest with you. And not to say he didn't deserve it, but I felt like there was way too much pressure on him to be a one-and-done type player, and that's not who he is.
Great penetration by Bone. Alexander got his hands on it.
Because unless one or two of them play really well as freshmen, it's a group that Louisville can grow with over the next
second half. And does it kind of fit the mode of the kind of play that Chris Mack was recruiting at Xavier?
Yes, and I think they're going to be able to recruit a even higher level at Louisville, but to build this first class around guys that can be in the program for a while, I think is a really healthy thing. And just look at the teams that have won national championships lately. Villanova, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Think about Gonzaga. Now they do it with some transfers, international guys, but getting old,
guys.
Yeah, get old, stay old. That's usually the motto for every team that's not named Duke or Kentucky.
Grant Williams matching up with Malik Williams. Alexander on the glass. Here's Schofield for three. Admiral Schofield with his fourth three.
Good challenge there defensively too by VJ King. Schofield just hit a tough shot.
Schofield had 3 threes on the season coming in. 4 tonight.
Team captain before he even played a basketball game. It says a lot about his character and what he means to Louisville. And he'll be long gone by the time this Louisville program is up and running the way they want it, but they'll remember him for being part of that group that started the Chris Mack era.
He had his choice of programs to go to, also considered Arizona State.
The first 3 picks in the NBA draft, but they have 3 guys who all would be in consideration for ACC Player of the Year. You look at that backcourt, and of course Hunter back now, and adding Brackmore, young man out of Fort Wayne, and I've been impressed tonight with how hard he's played.
Admiral Schofield, another triple chance.
Oh, wow. Think about Darius Perry. He averaged like 3.9 last year. He's up over 14 points a game. And I know it's early and the competition hasn't been great, but lots of improvement. Oh, nice cut. Nice cut. Good screen inside. They got Fulkerson open. And John Fulkerson, the redshirt sophomore, quietly has had a really good night. He is an energy guy.
Fulkerson has had to battle his way through injuries a couple of times as a volunteer. He had
what you got to do. So if you're the screener's man, you back off and you make sure you protect the lane. There's a run out.
Bowden with the slam, and Tennessee is up by 4. Louisville pushing back the other way.
Your brotherly love. We were talking to Franny McCaffrey last week, who was known as White Magic. He played a lot of basketball with this guy. One of the top officials in our game. And Jordan Nwora, what a summer he had. He played for the Nigerian national team against men. His dad coached the team, and it really helped him. He can really shoot it. Played with Ike Diagu, former NBA star.
Talked to his team about after their first game of the season. And it's a team that's gotten better each and every game. Yeah, they're undefeated, but as the quality of competition heats up, and they've got some big ones coming up to take on the Candle.
They'll end up with, they probably will end up with the toughest schedule in basketball this year. And you know what's good about that? You go 18-12 with that kind of team. There's a 1-3-1 zone. First different look that they're throwing at Tennessee tonight. If you play that kind of schedule, you get a couple quality wins, it's going to help your NCAA chances.
Here's Lamonte Turner over the zone.
Let's keep an eye on that, Tom. They're 0 for 1 versus the zone, and let's see if Chris Mack stays in that defense until they give up a basket.
Enoch working with a turnaround jumper over Alexander, side of the backboard.
They're in it, 1-3-1.
Can Tennessee get it inside against the zone?
Yes, absolutely. And lobs are good here if you have set plays.
Tennessee over. We are tied at 58.
There's that zone again. Got to get 3 to the baseline versus a 1-3-1. You can't be afraid to throw the lob, and they had it.
Baseline jumper again. This one goes for Alexander. Drive by Wara. Pinned against the
Alexander open on that short corner area, and they're staying in that 1-3-1 zone.
Is that where the lob would come from?
The lob would come from the backside. Pons, exactly.
And he is the most athletic guy in this Tennessee team. Here's a skip to him in the corner. A screen from Schofield was a hard one. Pons not known for his shooting, and it shows.
Oh, Chris Mack loved that shot. Oh, what a steal.
Unbelievable leaping steal by Jordan Bone. Schofield shares it. Corner 3, Turner. Got it.
Good swing. Excellent swing. And that's why Schofield averages 5 assists a game. Got it into the middle of the heart of that defense. Skipped it to the other side. Hard to guard 50 feet of court space if you're a defensive team in a zone. This is fun, and Louisville has been impressive.
3-ball fading. Goes! Big triple for Wara. He's got 17. Louisville's tied it again.
No hesitation that time. Catch and shoot.
Chris Mack says watch the lob in the backside with Pons.
Tough
Turner.
shot.
Got it! The shootout continues here at Barclays. It's Tennessee by 3 now.
Can't play defense any better. That was a great closeout without fouling. But that's the impact that Lamonte Turner has playing his first game back.
Wara challenge triple. What do you think of that possession?
You know what? If it goes in, it's great. How's that?
Yeah.
He shot it with confidence. That's what you like. It's about the same shot that Turner hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bad pass. Due to Fairfield University, he's been at places like Rhode Island with Danny Hurley, Xavier with Chris Mack, and outstanding young coach, great recruiter, good basketball coach, and Dad's proud. I know that.
Baseline drive. Cunningham reverses it in. Louisville within a point again.
Now, we've been talking about how good Tennessee's offense has been all night, and yet Louisville is just hanging basket for basket with them.
3-ball. Halfway home and out. Both Volunteers go down. Grant.
I just want to make sure both players are okay, and Louisville will keep the ball, and Tennessee will not be charged with a timeout.
Williams got his hands on it. Louisville recovers. They have numbers the other way if they can push. Here's Perry. Transition 3. And Louisville still hasn't led since this was a 33-31 Cards game in the first half. Alexander now. He got deep. Good touch. Really good touch by Kyle Alexander. And notice the way he kept that ball up. He wears heavy gloves. He wore them in practice today because it helps him keep the ball high. And there's a good example right there. Corner 3 goes for Louisville and Dwayne Sutton. We're tied again. Yeah, Wade. They're talking about with him. He's not their main scorer, but the senior is a talented player in the post. Williams back out to Bone for 3. Seems every time Tennessee has needed a big shot, they've gotten it. And I've been impressed with Bone. I mentioned earlier, I think he's one of the best point guards in the SEC. The junior keeps getting better every year. This is a work-oriented team, a gym rat team. They live in that gym. High off the glass, follow touch. Agow's got another bucket thanks to the offensive board. Louisville keeps throwing haymakers at Tennessee, and the Volunteers each and every time have answered. Here's Grant Williams. Williams had 17 and blocked him down in the first 12 minutes of the second half. So we used to call guys like
We used to call guys like Grant Williams tweeners. No longer, he's just a player.
Tennessee going zone. Cards have hit 11 threes.
Williams got the hand of Wara, but that's not a foul. Hand part of the ball. Good challenge. Ball came up short for that reason.
Wara pushes Williams out. 3 from Bone. And a rebound pulled down by Dwayne Sutton. Where is Louisville most effective in the offensive end in the second half?
This game. And Rob Lanier, same thing. We got to be tougher. And that's been the case. And to your point about Louisville's offense, 45% from 3, 45% from 2, 80%. Team that's already got 70 points, so it hasn't been the offensive end. In fact, they've had great balance of scoring inside and out. Half their field goals from 3, half from 2, and 19 free throws.
McMahon running the baseline for Louisville. Back out on the wing. Enoch into the corner. McMahon left his feet, somehow got it off. And the Cards able to track it down with hustle, but Enoch took it to the floor.
I always call an error of commission. As a coach, I always like that. I could live with a play like that. And over the back, those are the kind of plays you want to see your big guys play with energy.
Off the curl at Schofield from 8 feet.
Wow, great execution. Great set. That time it was Williams for Schofield.
McMahon fired it early.
I hated when an official missed a call and then teed me up for his mistake. And in my opinion right there, if he knew it was a mistake, and I don't think it was a foul, I thought it was a great play, a verticality play, official needs to let the coach go a little bit. Now, he might have used a magic word, but through no fault of their own, Kansas was bumped from #1 to #2 after champions. And it was based on the impact of that Duke win over Kentucky, and good chance if Duke drops this game to Gonzaga, Kansas has a chance to be back to #1.
Well, that's a Turner for 3.
And he's back.
Yes.
He is back, and now you know why Rick Barnes not only needed him back in the lineup, but rested him in those first 3 games that were all games that the Vols were heavily favored in.
McMahon was challenged on his 3. 6 minutes to go, and Tennessee in control. Now, wait a second, though. You say that Kansas could move back up to #1.
Only if they win this tournament.
Yeah, if they win. But if Gonzaga wins Maui, there's going to be a lot of folks voting Gonzaga #1 if they're able to take down Duke.
And the best team in the country might be Virginia.
What a start to the season. Here's King.
The way they move the ball, oftentimes the catalyst is Schofield or Williams, and those 2 guys are thought of as brute forces, but both are skilled players.
14 Louisville turnovers, Fran. Tennessee has scored 21 points off those turnovers.
I'm going to have to think about what you said, because there's no question that Gonzaga is going to get a lot of credit for this win.
That's why I like working with you. Yeah. Here's Schofield inside. He's got 18.
Yeah, and how about Tennessee? Rick Barnes' teams have always been tough, gritty, defense-oriented, but they've got scoring in this starting lineup, that's for sure.
I was talking to Bill Self this afternoon at their practice over at St. Francis, and talking about the field and who they might match up with. He said, I told our coaches I'd love for us to play Tennessee, because that, just like the 2 assistants texted you, that's a toughness game, and it's a great barometer to see where our program is from a toughness perspective.
Without a question, and Bill Self has never shied away. Yet and Wofford and certainly Villanova, Arizona State, they've got to go to a place that those guys beat them at home. Those are teams that are going to be highly thought of in their conferences, and certainly will help their net. Is that it?
Yeah,
the net, right?
Net. We're going to teach you guys all basketball season what the net is. Just forget about the RPI. We've got new initials. It actually spells out a word. And Middle Tennessee and Virginia, 9:30 tonight on ESPN2. As soon as we finish with Kansas and as a player.
They didn't last year. Talking to him today at practice has certainly been a point of emphasis throughout the summer and fall. We're going to get a chance to see them test that defense in just a short while here.
It's amazing what you work at and what you improve on, right? I asked Rick Barnes, hey, what makes you guys so good defensively? And he looked at me with a Hickory, North Carolina draw and goes, well, we practice it. Grant Williams turns it over inside. They work really hard at being a great defensive team. Rohra reverses, gets it.
Japan should qualify. They really turned it on when Rui played for them. And when I was out at Zag's practice for 2 or 3 days in October, Mark Few told me that they were thrilled with the progress he made because he was a go-to guy for the Japanese national team.
Much more aggressive than he is when he first showed up at campus.
Oh, first year was about learning the language. Forget learning basketball. Year 2 last year was about basketball. This year it's about becoming a star.
Louisville's bench, you saw the graphic. They've been great all season. They averaged 42 points a game from their bench and had a school record 63 from the bench in the game against Southern. Tennessee working clock. Shot clock at 5. Schofield.
He traveled.
Yeah, he did.
He got Roy with an extra step right there. Chris Mack yelled it out.
Louisville trying to close the gap, down 11 with 3 minutes to go. To the high post, Sutton. And he chased it down but committed a foul.
That program.
All-time winningest coach past Gillen. Grant Williams goes 2 for 2 from the line. He's got 22.
I think Grant Williams set the tone tonight early.
Yes, 17 in the first half.
Yep, he sure did. Little inside action. That's how you score against the zone. And there's where you don't need to shoot a jump shot. If you can get the ball inside like that easily, that's good offensive basketball versus the zone.
Tennessee solves the Louisville pressure. Don't forget Marquette and second-ranked Kansas. We'll follow this one about 20 minutes after we finish here, right here on ESPN2. LeGerald Vick has been red hot for Kansas over the last 2 games. Shot clock winding down. Williams, a blind shot off the window.
I have no idea how he made that shot. He looked like a contortionist at a carnival.
He does everything. Plays the piano, changes tires, hits down.
One of my favorite Spinner songs, Rubber Band Man.
Yeah.
Watch this. Watch him turn. I mean, that's ridiculous how he did that.
Ball went behind the back and lost it. And for threes without a miss against Vermont. Then he had 33 against Louisville. He hit 7 threes in that game.
Remember that Vermont game? Because I don't think he hit the rim on any of those threes that night.
And he could have had the NCAA record if his shoes were like a half size smaller, because 2 of his 2s were with the toes on the line. Admiral Schofield's got 20. He is combined with Grant Williams, who has 24. And both of those guys tonight passed the career 1,000 point mark in the same game. Turnaround for Jordan Rohra.
He's been impressive tonight. He's only a sophomore. There's some good pieces here to go along with that top recruiting class.
What does tonight's game show you about how Louisville will match up with folks in the East? Then next stop in the bracket, Marquette or Kansas. McMahon off the mark. Under a minute to go in Maui. Gonzaga clinging to a 2-point lead against #1 Duke. That's over on ESPN. Here, Tennessee putting the finishing touches on Louisville. Volunteers are going to go to 4-0. They'll await the winner of Marquette and Kansas. And Rick Barnes is going to pass John Wooden.
Johnson.
Rohra's got a career high 23. It won't be enough for Louisville.
Well, his dad taught him how to shoot the ball because he's been electric from behind the arc.
92-81 is the final score here in game #1 of the NIT.